Now it should turn over. Today is the day we're going to finally start up the EG for the first time properly with my new fuel injectors that have finally arrived. I've got a few more things that I need to do to finish off to get this ready. So I need to fit my fuel injectors. I need to fit an exhaust sensor. My last fuel fitting is here. I need to fit that. And I need to fit this last bit of exhaust. We are actually going to modify this and cut this off and put like a nice V-band on this so it fits properly. The engine swap is nearly done. If you don't know, this was originally a 1.5 litre and now it's 2.4. Bit of a frank build. It's got a lot of the K20 parts in this engine as well, so this should be quite an eventful car when it's done, and hopefully today is going to be the day that I'm going to fire up for the first time. Let's crack on and get this thing going. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is fit this little barbed piece to my fuel line here. In theory, you don't need Jubilees because the barbed fittings have got sharp edges, so it should never come loose, but I'm going to put Jubilees on them just in case. So I'm going to get that on, and then fuel line wise, that is completely finished. Okay, that's the fuel line fitted. I know it doesn't look the prettiest, but so that's done. I can put all that back together and move on to the next job. All right, so on to the next job. I've put the injectors in. I do need to change the plugs on these. These are the new ones that fit those injectors, and so I'm gonna have to basically deep-in them and put them into there, and then I can plug them in. Also, nothing I've got to sort that I didn't realise is there's a gap between the intake manifold and the rail is massive. Usually on a stock sort of K20 fuel rail, it's like a 5-6mm spacer, so I'm gonna have to make something for this to fit. The injector wiring is now done, looking a lot neater and more tucked out of the way. The next thing I need to sort out is these little spaces, but I might have to buy some bit of metal that'll fit. I've kind of got, this is my idea, like a hollow sort of tube, and I can cut that down to size, but this is the only bit of hollow tube I've got that's like the right size. So I'm gonna have a dig around, see what I can find with some of the stuff we've got here at the unit, but that might be the thing that holds me back right now. So I found these little bits of metal that I'm going to use for my spacers. I've just cleaned that one up. I'm going to clean this one up next, and then I'm going to cut them down to size, but they should really do the trick, and they're nice and thick as well, so there's going to be more than strong enough for what I need. Alright, so I've got my spacers on. I've test fitted them. The gap for the injectors looks okay. It all looks sat right. I mean, until I put fuel in it and there's pressure and we see a leak, we're never going to know if it's 100% okay, but that looks okay to me compared to like a stock sitting one. I'm just going to take them back off and give them a lick of paint because they're just mild steel, and I've wire-walled them down just to get all the rubbish off them. Otherwise, they'll just be rusty as hell, and the rest of it looks okay. So I'm going to do that and then put them back on, and that job is finished. Alright, so the next job I've got to do is get one of these exhaust sensors to the outside of the car. I know this all looks like spaghetti at the minute, but once I get this tidied up and that sensor outside, this will look neater, and I'll be able to plug it in on the exhaust. Fuel is going in the EG. I filled up the 20-litre jerry can, but then I couldn't find the nozzle, so I've got to pour that fuel into this fuel and then into the car, which has taken ages, so I'm going to be here for a while. But also, good news, my bumper and spoiler are back from paint and they're looking good. And I've decided to get the sills painted and the front bumper. So this car's going to look pretty good when it's done. There's oil in it, injectors are on, we've primed it, there's fuel pressure, there was a leak, we sorted the leak, I just didn't tighten up one of the fittings. Now it should turn over.
Oh fuck me, that starts up and runs alright.
That is quiet, is the pressure okay?
Bit low, but we're good.
We need to adjust the regulator, but we can't really sort it out until it's running, but it's running like, this is the first time we've tried it, and
Legit the first time we've tried it. Bear in mind, it hasn't got an exhaust on it at the moment.
Just the manifold.
This is temporary, don't worry.
But like before, because obviously we don't know what map is on it from the ECU. He said it was a 2.4. I don't know what injectors it had, but it's running really smooth. But yeah, this I need to get a bung for a coolant pipe. That's why we put that on there. And that's just my overflow for now. But
Yeah, we just need to adjust the pressure slightly to about 50, 55. We're about 42 now, something like that. But it's running good.
I can't believe it started first time so easy like that. I mean, we did prime the fuel, so the fuel was ready. But it was mainly the map on the ECU that I was worried about, but it must be something like close. So what we're doing now, I've topped up the power steering fluid because that reservoir's dropped as soon as the engine's turned over. We're gonna sort the coolant out, leave that. What else do we need to do? What do we need to do, Moss? What do we need to do? Oh yeah, the regulator we need to sort out as well. So yeah, really good sign and really good progress. So let's crack on, shall we?